What is going on, Raptors Nation? What is going on? It is Luca back here with the Raptors Nation podcast on this Thursday, July 10th. We are a day away from Summer League as Summer League gets underway tonight. And I'm actually pretty excited about Summer League. There's going to be a lot of intriguing matchups. Obviously, it's our first glimpse at the rookies. Tonight, it's going to be highlighted by Cooper Flagg making his Summer League debut, going up against Bronny James and the Lakers. The Raptors going to officially begin their Summer League slate tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Raptors and their expectations for Summer League. Their roster's looking really darn good. Then we're going to talk about the NBA Cup, take an early look at the Raptors NBA Cup, because, the NBA Cup, their groups have been revealed. The third iteration of the Emirates NBA Cup. Raptors, we'll see if they can make it out of the group stage for the first time in the NBA Cup's inception. And we're just going to hang out, guys. Just going to hang out, talk about what's been going on, take some of your questions, and see what is happening. Before we dive right into it, do me a solid, guys. Hit a like, subscribe to the channel for more Raptors Nation pods just like this, coming to you live every single Thursday. If there's a game on Thursday, Summer League game, or just game in general, I usually do it on Friday. Appreciate everybody who tunes in for these long-form weekly pods. Been doing them live. I like the interaction, so I'm going to continue doing them live. And then you can find the audio portion of this podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find the audio on iTunes or Spotify. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It is greatly appreciated. Rocking the Blue Jays hat for today's show because the Blue Jays, they have been killing it. Hopefully, we got some meaningful baseball. Summertime is just so much better in the city, isn't it, when the Blue Jays are good? So they've been killing it. Of course, their win streak officially ended the other day, but, I mean, they look to be on their way to getting a playoff spot. I know it's early in baseball. You can never say something's a guarantee, especially in July, but Jays looking pretty darn good. Hopefully, the Raptors will look good. Hopefully, this season will be a big year for the Raptors, and the city of Toronto can embrace a winning Raptors team once again. But before we get to that part of the Raptors season, we got to get through this part of the Raptors season. Raptors Summer League, guys. As I said, I am actually excited. And the Raptors Summer League roster is actually stacked, man. Like, this team looks good. The Raptors, they have the second best odds of winning it all. So yes, the Raptors are championship contenders in Summer League. They are just behind the Utah Jazz when you talk about the best odds of winning this whole thing. And you look at the amount of talent they're bringing in, headlined by, of course, the rookie selections, CMB, second-year guys. This team is going to be a problem. And it officially gets underway for this Raptors Summer League team tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time in the Pavilion against the Bulls. Then the Raptors will be taking on the Orlando Magic on July 13th at Thomas and Mack. Then they have a matchup on July 15th against the Nuggets at 8 p.m. Eastern in the Pavilion. And then they have a matchup against the Warriors on July 17th. So next Thursday, a week from today, at 10 p.m. Eastern in the Pavilion. So how Summer League works is that all the teams are going to play in 4 games. And if the Raptors make it to the semis, the top 4 teams do just that. They'll have a chance to play games 5 and 6 to win it all. If they don't, they'll play a 5th game, and that will be it. So obviously the Raptors, they got the team here that they should be able to put up a competitive fight. And you got 16 players that are featured in this roster, including 6 rookies, 5 sophomores, 5 other players in some form. And this Summer League squad is going to be coached by James Wade, who is entering his 3rd year as an assistant on Darko Rajakovic's staff. Of course, he was the general manager and head coach for the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. As we take a look at this roster, some of the standouts, the rookies. Colin Murray-Boyle is going to be headlining Summer League. Of course, he is that new player that all Raptors fans are excited to see, myself included. Raptors first-round pick. And we'll get to see the youngster in action. Hopefully he can show us a little something early, but he averaged 16.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.3 blocks while shooting 58.6% from the field with South Carolina. Of course, his 3-point percentage, that's something you want to see bumped up at the next level. Just shot a 26.5% from three, 70.7% from the free throw line. But where his appeal is defense, right? Viewed as one of the best defenders in this draft class. And he is really going to, immediately make an impact with his defensive versatility, his ability to guard multiple positions. He's got nice playmaking, and he can finish. This is a guy that he is able to get to the rim and finishes well at the rim. Of course, it's just the shooting. That is what I think is going to determine if CMB ends up being a big-time player in this league or not. If that shooting comes along, the Raptors could end up with a really gem of a player in this draft. And then you'll realize, oh, that's why the Raptors went with CMB and not Malawash or anybody else on number 9. Like at the time, a lot of people even had CMB going top 5, top 6. He was the best player still available on Jay Billis's big board before the Raptors made their pick. So Raptors didn't go for need here of getting a center. They went for best player available. And we'll see if that ends up being the right decision for them. And obviously, he's going to come from off the bench in his first season. That tandem of him and Barnes, you can put him in lineups. I know the shooting's going to be iffy with the floor spacing, but from the defensive standpoint, that's going to be a scary sight. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Colin Murray-Boyles burst onto the scene. I want to see him block shots. I want to see that defense on full display. I think his defense is already going to be on par amongst some of the better defenders in the summer league. And then offensively, this is his opportunity to get those shots up, right? This is for him. Like summer league, as much as we want to talk about, the fun of it, of like, this is the Raptors summer league to lose, essentially. They're one of the favorites to win. It isn't about wins and losses. It's about player development. It's about these youngsters to get their first grips of what to expect at the next level. And it's for other guys to refine their game. Obviously, the big players in last year's summer league for the Raptors that we were all looking at, of course, the rookies were outside of the rookies were Grady Dick and Agbaji. You wanted to see them really dominate in summer league. So it's about progression. It's about development. CMB is going to be exciting to watch. You got Elijah Martin, who officially inked a deal today, 39th overall pick, drafted on a team that went on to win it all, national title, Gators. Another just outstanding defender. He's a pit bull. He's an absolute dog. He's athletic as heck. I mean, the guy just is able to get downhill, flashy dunks, flashy finishing, and he is able to space the floor and shoot, which is why I like him. Like he can, I know he's a smaller guard and he's more of a combo guard versus like a true point guard, but I like that he did show that he can hit the three. So he does have that two-way potential, and he's just so explosive, so strong, so menacing on the defensive end. He's a more athletic Jamal Shed with more shooting upside, I think. So, yeah, I'm excited to see Martin. Those are kind of like the rookies, of course, that you're going to have your eyes on. And then, going back to what I just said about last year's Summer League team, you're going to be looking at the sophomores to really look good because these are second-year players. Like, they are going to be expected to dominate some of the younger players because Summer League is mostly comprised of the new guys, the rookies, or guys who are just trying to make it to the league, trying to make it to teams training camp, get that invite. But when you have the sophomores who are guaranteed to be on teams, you want to see them look a cut above the rest. And that's when I'm looking at Jacoby Walter. I'm very excited to see him as well because I think I view Jacoby Walter in this year's Summer League team as I viewed Grady Dick in last year's Summer League team. Like, he should look a cut above. Like, we should really see some big Jacoby Walter games. And I'm excited to see that he is going to have a lot of the primary ball handling duties. So we can see him do a little bit with the rock in his hands. And this is a guy who a lot of people are pegging as like that guy to take the next step. I'm very high on Jacoby Walter. Right now, I'm higher on Walter than I am on Grady Dick, if I'm being perfectly honest, just because of that two-way ability. We saw towards the end of last season, he had a couple of really good moments. The game winner against Orlando, like, he's shown flashes that he can be very sound on both ends and he can give you something offensively. And, Jacoby Walter, if he can stay healthy, like, he can end up being like one of the best scorers in the tournament as a whole. Like, I really look to him to take over with the scoring. Like, he should be like leading the Raptors in scoring, really looking like their best player out there. So that's a guy who I'm excited to see. A couple of second-year guys, Shed, Of course, he had a really sound, really solid rookie year for the Raptors. You want to see him, take that offense to the next level. And, he won't, he's going to be that defensive specialist, but this is going to be a big year for Shed. Like he is right now going to be the everyday backup to Emmanuel Quickly. He didn't know that was going to be his role last season. Remember, like it was like Davion Mitchell, and then he basically like beat him out. And that's why the Raptors ultimately moved on from Mitchell. I know he was a restricted free agent as well, but Shed, like he didn't really know his role last season. Now he does. Like he is going to be that backup to Emmanuel Quickly. So there's going to be big expectations on him. So like, to see him continue to grow and develop is going to be interesting. Jonathan Mobo, that's another guy who had a lot of good, flashes towards the end of last season. And, hopefully for him, he can assert more of his dominance around the rim offensively. He's able to finish better at the rim. And you got Jamison Battle as well, sharpshooter. Like this guy can hit it, the three at such a good level. He hit 40.5% across 59 games for the Raptors last season. Obviously, the Raptors need shooting. They need three-point shooting. So, seeing what he can do more as a defender and more of like on-ball responsibility as well will be something interesting to monitor. But Battle should have, a big role in this summer league, just shooting the rock and just going off. Like we know he can catch fire. And then Chomchi is going to be the other interesting player. He's going to be ready to go. He recovered. And, he's expected to play, right? And this is a guy with 905 last season, averaged 7.1 points, 7.6 rebounds, 2.9 blocks. It was unfortunate he got hurt because he would have saw a lot of playing time down the stretch of last season when the Raptors had a lot of guys in and out and were essentially tanking. So he's another guy that's going to be very interesting to see how he performs in the summer league. Defensively, he was one of the best in the G League last season. And he's just so young still. Like he's only 19 years old. So that's another guy who I'm really looking forward to playing in this next level. And then you got other guys, like Lawson, Castleton, Guerriere, who can make their mark as well. So it'll be interesting to see what this team can ultimately do. But oops, sorry about that, guys. Not sure what I clicked. Little intro in the middle of it. As I was saying, though, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what this team can do. Like, am I gonna be disappointed if they don't win it all? No, because it's summer league. But like, I hope this team can make it to that Final Four. I think it's gonna be it would be really good. Like, it starts somewhere. I know people are saying, oh, like the Raptors are championship contenders of summer league, but what about their actual team? But it's like it starts somewhere, and I think if the young guys can come on out, play well, play hard, both ends, and this team can have a good showing, hey, maybe make it to that Final Four, that would be super, super fun. So I am excited for Summer League. It gets underway tomorrow against the Baby Bulls. We'll see what the Raptors can do, what their starting five is, but expect like Jacoby Walter, the second-year guys, to really look good, and then CMB, like, can you give us a little bit of a flavor of what he's going to bring for this season with the Raptors? So yeah, it all gets underway tomorrow, guys. It's going to be super, super intriguing to see what this team can do, how they're going to look, if they can be competitive in some of these runs. I mean, when you look at some of the teams they're going to be going up against, they're certainly going to be favorite, against the teams that I just outlined. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors are a favorite in all those games. So yeah, the roster, it is pretty damn loaded. It is pretty locked in, and it is ready to go for Vegas. Summer League's always a blast. I was able to attend Summer League 2 years ago. I watched one of the Raptors games. I think it was in the Pavilion. Just super, super fun. Super, super, like, exciting. You never know who you're going to run into. This is basically like a pause for all the people in the media world in the NBA, where, like, they all meet at one central location, and they get to, like, chill, mingle, and then, like, even, like, when the games aren't happening, you're at like the casino or by the bar and you like run into NBA players. Like, it's really, really cool. I haven't been able to get out last year, not going to be able to go this year, but it was a really, really fun experience. I'll never forget that. I remember Jakob Pertl. He was like, I'm just chilling in my, like, the lobby. And then I just see like Jakob Pertl by the bar. He's just having a drink. I went to go say like, what's up? Like, went to go talk to him a bit. And that was pretty cool. And then, like, I saw like Dylan Brooks. I saw Austin Reeves playing poker. It pretty much like, if you're like a diehard NBA fan and like you're seeing all this, like it really is cool. It's like, damn, like you're just casually walking down the lobby and you don't know who the hell you're gonna run into. I saw Bruce Brown. That's after he signed his lucrative deal with the Pacers. Of course, that didn't work out. He was then later traded to the Raptors. I saw Quinn Snyder, the Hawks coach. So like I saw like so many guys just randomly in the lobby, and it just, you kind of just like accept it after. It's like, okay, yeah, like these guys are just like us. They're just living their life. They're just grabbing a coffee, grabbing a drink, gambling a little bit, and they're having some fun. So it was really cool to see them in that light. It kind of like, humanizes them more from like just what you see on TV. But yeah, really, really cool. And like, again, it's an opportunity for all the industry guys and media to meet up. Like Shams, I think I saw him from afar, but I didn't go say hi because him, he's always plugged onto his phone, ready to tweet something. Windhorse I saw as well. So yeah, Summer League's going to be fun. And again, like it's an opportunity for the executives, presidents to talk. Of course, the Raptors still searching for their president. Is it going to be a external guy or is it going to be an internal with Bobby Webster? This is an opportunity when, guys get to talk internally. Maybe a trade still happens. Listen, I made this point on the Lakers Nation podcast yesterday with Ryan, because I do host a Lakers show with Ryan once a week on Lakers Nation. Go check it out if you haven't already. And we mentioned it, like, I know it feels like it's over, but guys, like, look at the calendar. We're only 10 days into July. Like, there's still an entire offseason in theory to go. So you never know when a big move can happen. You never know when it's going to strike. Even look at last season, right before the season started, when you thought things were official with rosters and all that. We got the Karl Anthony Towns trade, like a week before tip-off of the new season. So there's still a lot that can happen. And then obviously from the Raptors front, there's been the ongoing speculation, trade rumors of RJ Barrett. I think Brett Siegel of Clutch Points did a Q&A on Twitter the other day, and they basically, a fan asked him, like, what's going on with RJ Barrett? And he flat out said, like, his days are all numbered. Been seeing a lot of mock trades, with him and the Bucks being, I think, the favorite now to land RJ if the Raptors do trade him. So a lot can still happen. Like, there's still notable free agents on the table, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal. Obviously, he's got to be bought out still. The Jonathan Kuminga thing, Chris Boucher. He's not going to be back, unfortunately. If you're a Boucher head, he's going to, but like, where's he going to go? So there still is some puzzle pieces to fill out. We're seeing the massive extensions happen. So that's why, buckle up. I think there might be another trick or two up the NBA sleeve for the season to see how things ultimately play out. But yeah, it's going to go down in Summer League, guys. Who are you most looking forward to seeing in Summer League? And what are some of your expectations from some of the guys? Nobody's arguing CMB over centers, but Martin over Ryan was brainless. Martin two-way is a wasted pick. Well, I did shake my head a bit with that, but I'm going to give Martin the benefit of the doubt. Like, again, it does seem like a redundant pick, so I get where you're coming from that perspective, but he is able to shoot a little bit from three, so that's kind of his saving grace. We'll see how he fits into the rotation, though, because he is smaller as a guard. That's kind of my biggest concern with him, because it's like, where do you play him? Like, he's not a traditional point guard, but he's too small to play at the two. Like, he's 6'2". You have to play him at the one, and he doesn't really have, like, playmaking chops as like a Jamal Shed. He's more of just like a give him the ball, he's going to go downhill type of player. So that's the thing. Like, ultimately, where his fit going to be on this team? But we'll see. We'll see what he can do in Summer League that wins you over potentially. CMB has high IQ of all the skills. Raptors like, he was probably BPA. So was Ronaldo at the start of the season, and he slipped into his 40s. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna lie. I was very surprised with the CMB pick, just because I thought the Raptors were for sure gonna get Malawash when he fell to them. And then with the Elijah Martin pick at 39, I thought for sure they were gonna go with a big. But I mean, it is what it is. We'll see if it works out for the best or if it ends up being a fumble. But the Raptors, they were able to address that backup center. I actually like Mamu. I did a separate video on him on my personal channel. I like that he can space the floor. I like how he can shoot the three, so he's going to bring a different dynamic than Pirtle. So he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a bigger role. Like, right now, he's slated as the backup big. So hopefully with an increased role under the Darko system, we can see Mamu be that nice alternative big that you can put in lineups with Scottie, like a guy who can just stretch the floor and shoot. Because like ideally with the personnel the Raptors have, you want to stretch big. Jakob Poeltl isn't a stretch big, so maybe Mamu can kind of make his mark with that. So at least they were able to get him. Like if the Raptors were going to roll out like Mobo as a small ball five, or even like throw Scottie in there, I would have been like, what the hell are these guys doing? But they were able to address that backup center for now, at least. So we'll see what happens with that. Brayden Carlson, I still think, is a player that got away. Remember, the Raptors parted ways with him for Fernando, and that was a disaster with Fernando. And Carlson, I think, got re-signed recently by the Thunder. That would have been a nice player to keep around. But the Raptors, they prematurely cut ties with him. So yeah, we'll see if that backup big role is going to be an issue or a problem, or if Mamu can really like take full fledge of that and really impress. So right now, like the Raptors roster is basically set, guys. Like barring a trade, and at this point, if I have to bet on a RJ Barrett trade happening this summer, I'm not. This is it. Like, I think the Raptors are done making moves. I think like the next big move we get from this team is who's going to be the team's president, but that can come even like later on in the year. It doesn't even have to come this summer. Because like the Raptors won't be charged the tax until the end of next season, until like game 82 is played. So in theory, they could just go into the season as is, see what this group can do. And then in all likelihood, if it doesn't go well, like they're going to make adjustments at the trade deadline. But in terms of like rushing or making a trade this summer, I wouldn't bank on it. I think they will see things through. But then again, that was under Masai Ujiri's regime of like kind of taking the slower approach, seeing things through. Maybe that's different now with, Bobby Webster overseeing things entirely for now. And obviously, with the whole like control of Rodgers and stuff, maybe there's a different approach to it. Maybe they don't have a more patient approach and they're like, we got to get under this money. RJ makes a ton of sense because he's a weird fit and he's making, that's how you kind of shed salary. Maybe they do it soon rather than later. But again, I wouldn't bank on a trade happening this summer. I would say like most likely they run it as is, and then we get like a trade or two at the deadline if it comes down to that. But I think right now, like the likeliest trade candidates for the Toronto Raptors, RJ Barrett and Abaji. I think those two guys right now are at the top of that list. Abaji, because of his contract, he's easy to move now, and you're going to have to pay him soon. And then RJ Barrett, just based on what he's making, and again, fit, it doesn't make much sense. With him, BI, Scottie, it could work out, but right now the consensus is it's not going to work out. I know we haven't seen them play together, so it's hard to definitively say that, and you can't definitively say that, but just kind of from a fit perspective, it could be a little weird. So that's kind of what's at stake right now. But in terms of everything else is set up. Josh Lewenberg put out that Brandon Ingram was cleared for contact today. He's been training with the team, doing individual work. Next step will be to start scrimmage over the coming days. So that's very, very promising. Rajakovic said he's pain-free, he's moving well, he's gotten stronger. He's in a really great spot. So that is music to my ears. Obviously, Raptors gave Ingram extended rest, extended time off because they didn't want him to rush back when the season was already done. So the reason for that is he's never going to have a setback, hopefully again with his injury. Like the next time we see Ingram, it's to stay for the long haul, and we're going to see his best version yet. So the fact that it's being reported that he's feeling his best, he's playing good, he's clear for contact, that suggests that Brandon Ingram is going to be ready to go, A-OK, cleared without a doubt when the Raptors begin their season. So that was promising with that report from Josh Lewenberg. But yeah, guys, we'll see what happens. Summer League begins tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts and your expectations for the Raptors Summer League team. All right, I did want to quickly touch on the NBA Cup because the groups were released yesterday. So just an early look at it. The Raptors, they draw a pretty difficult East Group A. You look at it, they got the Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana Pacers, Washington Wizards. I know a lot of people are feeling optimistic about the Raptors draw. I'm not. I think it's going to be tough. The Raptors have not fared well in the NBA Cup over the last 2 years. They've never made it to the knockout stage. The top 6 teams and then 2 wildcard teams from each conference make it to the knockout round. The Raptors have never been close to that. They've only won, I think, 1 NBA Cup game in total over the last 2 years. But you look at their group, the Atlanta Hawks, I really like what the Hawks did this summer, guys. I have right now the Hawks penciled in as my fourth best team in the East. I think they're going to take a serious step forward. Defensively, they're going to be a nightmare. I think offensively, Porzingis is going to unlock a new element. So the Hawks are going to be really, really good. Cleveland were a 1 seed last season. They're basically running it back, so I don't think they're going to fall off. I don't think they're going to be the 1 seed again, but I would be surprised if all of a sudden they're bad. I mean, defensively, they are another solid team. The Indiana Pacers, maybe that's a W for the Raptors, but like obviously no Halliburton for all next season, but the Pacers still have a lot of depth, man. Like Nembhard is going to have a huge year. He's going to be the primary ball handler, the point guard. I know it was a big loss to Miles Turner, but the Pacers, they still got so many pieces that can beat you. Obviously, Siakam's still there. So I think they're still going to be competitive even without Halliburton. And then Washington, call me crazy, guys, but the Washington Wizards had a fantastic offseason. Like, they did a good job of adding quality veteran guys and preserving cap space where they're going to be one of the top teams when it comes to having the ability to spend money in the future. Like, it's them and the Nets who are going to be wealthy and have big money to throw at potential free agents down the line. And you look at what they did, they shed bad players and they brought in quality veteran guys like McCollum. I like that move. Even like getting rid of Olynyk for the two younger guys on the Spurs, two younger guards. They were able to get rid of Jordan Poole, who I think was just a terrible fit with them. So, you know, they have good young pieces in Koulibaly, obviously Sarr. So like Washington, they have a nice blend of like quality veteran guys, you know, Middleton too, Marcus Smart, and then the youngsters that I think are really good for them. So that's not going to be like an easy win. Like, I don't think these Wizards are going to be the laughing stock of the league Wizards, the ones that we saw last season and the season before that, where like, you know, you're going to beat them by 40. Like, I think this team might actually be in that play-in conversation. Seriously, I do think the Wizards are going to be much improved. So honestly, the Raptors, are they going to get out of this group? Probably not. I would say Cleveland's probably going to get the 1 seed. And then I would bet on the Hawks, or even the Hawks. I would say, I would actually go with that. I'm going to say the Hawks win the group and Cleveland probably get a wild card spot. So I think it's going to be tough for the Raptors to get out of this group, if I'm being honest. Like, I guess best case scenario is 2-2. Worst case scenario is 1-3. Maybe you beat the Pacers or the Wizards and then you lose those other three. So yeah, like I said, I'm not optimistic about this draw as a lot of people. And I'm not feeling so hot about my guarantee of the Raptors making the play-in. Like, it's going to be crowded. The play-in mix is going to be absolutely crowded. I don't think there's going to be like an absolutely terrible team in the East other than the Nets and maybe the Bulls. I think outside of those two teams, the Wizards, the Hornets improved. I think those teams are going to be a part of the play-in conversation with the Heat, with the Raptors, with the Pacers, because I don't think the Pacers are going to be a top 16 without Halliburton, but I don't completely see them falling off. So the play-in's not going to be a lot, guys. I think the Pistons I liked what they did. They're still going to be there. The Magic, I think, are the second or third seed right now. The Knicks clearly are, I think, the best team in the East. The Sixers are not going to take a step back again. Like, they're definitely going to take a step forward. I don't see them being bad again, so they'll be right back. Maybe the Bucks have a bad year, but then again, as long as Giannis is healthy, I can't completely write them off. So, yeah, like, the East isn't as easy as we thought it was going to be because a lot of teams upgraded and improved their roster this offseason. Like, I'm looking at it right now. The Hornets, the Wizards, the Hawks all had fantastic off seasons. The Pistons, I know they lost some guys, but they were able to get some shooting. Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert. So like, I think they're still going to be there. The Heat, I really loved what they did with the Norman Powell trade. I think they're going to be competitive. The only terrible teams, again, that I see, like truly terrible teams that like you look at them and you're like, that's an easy win. The Nets and the Bulls, and maybe even the Bulls surprised a lot of people because remember, they ended last season strong. But it's weird what they're doing with Giddey. I thought they were going to already like lock him in right now. He's still in restricted free agency. But yeah, like we went into the season or into the offseason thinking the East was going to be a joke. But I think the play-in is going to be crowded. There's going to be a lot of teams gunning for those 4 play-in spots. And what will be interesting, what teams will take a step back. Again, I think the Pacers will definitely take a step back. The Celtics will take a step back, but I don't see them taking a step back in terms of like missing the play-in entirely. I still think those teams will be in the play-in, the Bucks included, with a healthy Giannis. So yeah, I don't know. It's not a guarantee. Like before the offseason, I'm like the Raptors are for sure getting a play-in spot. Now, after the offseason, or like we're through the offseason, midway through it, like I don't think it's a guarantee. Like I'm not going to come out with my official standings predictions until much later because a lot can still happen. But I just think a lot of the bad to mid teams in the East improved this offseason. And I'm not saying the Raptors didn't improve. They just didn't do anything because they did all their heavy lifting at the trade deadline. And before that, like they got Brandon Ingram at the trade deadline. They kind of already had their team set in place. So they couldn't really do much to begin with. So that's why they just had to stand pat. But a lot of teams, they are going to be better than they were last season. So I don't know. I think it's going to be super, super tough to get a top 6 spot. But 7, 8, 9, 10, that's where the opportunity is. I think it's going to be crowded, but the Raptors can definitely, secure one of those spots. I'm already seeing it, guys. If I'm being real, I'm already looking ahead, and I'm like, I already envision it. As soon as Miami made the trade for Norman Powell, we're definitely getting a 7, 8, or 9, 10 Raptors Heat playing game. And Norman Powell is going to break the Raptors' hearts. I already see it now. There's going to be a playing game between Miami and Toronto. Just wait. Bookmark this. That's definitely happening. As soon as that trade went down, I'm like, that's going to be a reality. But yeah, I mean, the top 6 to me, like, I think it's going to be Knicks, Magic, Cavs. That's 3. Pistons, I think, Hawks, what I said. I think Pistons are still going to be there. And then call me crazy, but I think Philly's going to be good. Like, if Embiid's healthy, it's a big, big if, but I really don't see Philly having another down year. If they do, then they're going to end up trading Embiid or something crazy like Paul George. But those are basically my top 6 teams right now in the East. Philly's that big question mark that maybe one of those playing teams like the Raptors, Heat, get. But then again, like I'm not even including the Celtics, Pacers, or Bucks in that. Like, are all 3 of those teams really going to take a step back to get? Like, there's going to be one of those teams that, like, you think they're going to be bad next season, but they're still good. Like, the Celtics still have Jaylen Brown, Derek White, their bench. Like, I don't know. Like, top 6 is going to be extremely tough. And then the play-in, like I said, it's going to be crowded. So Raptors are such an interesting situation. And I think Kenny Beecham said it perfectly. Like, on paper, it doesn't look good because it's like, your 3 highest paid guys are guys who have never played together with each other. And it's so hard to judge this team and how they're going to do because we haven't seen them play with each other. So that's why it is boom or bust. This can either work out brilliantly or it can be a complete failure. But because we have no sample size to like base it off of and nothing that like leads you to think that there's concrete evidence of if this is going to work or not, like you really don't know. That's why it's hard to even rank them. Like they could be a complete failure, disaster. I definitely see a world where this team's once again in the lottery if things hit the fan, but it could go the other way. It could be completely a success. And maybe this team does get that 6th spot. So like it's really hard to tell because like you're banking on a lot of things going right. BI staying healthy, him, flourishing, meshing well with Scotty looking a lot better than he did last season from an offensive standpoint. So, yeah, like I'm so interested to see how the season's going to go. Like I really, really am. I think it's going to be amazing or absolutely terrible. Nothing in between. So that's why, like, it's tough to really gauge where this Raptors team is going to be because some of these other teams, you've seen their core play a lot with each other where okay, they're going to take a next step. And I'm pretty confident in saying that. Like, for instance, Orlando, Franz and Paolo and, and Suggs, they have played so much together where, okay, they're adding Bane, they're going to take a next step. Or the Cleveland guys, they have played a lot together. They're going to take the next step. Or Trae Young with Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels. They add Porzingis, they're going to take the next step. the Miami Heat, with Kel'el Ware, Adebayo, Hero, they're going to, maybe be interesting with Powell. But like with the Raptors, you're adding Brandon Ingram, but we haven't even seen a definitive sample size of Barnes with Barrett and Quickly. Remember, Barbecue with Pirtle has been super, super limited in sample size because guys have been hurt in and out quickly. Then it was Barrett, then it was Pirtle, then it was Barnes. So that's where like the uncertainty lies and the question marks lie. It's like you haven't seen a big enough sample size where you're confident in saying Brandon Ingram now added, this team's going to boom. So that's where there's the uncertainty with me, at least. So yeah, like we won't know until like the first 2 months of the season where this thing is headed. And that's why I think they are going to roll into the season as is. They are going to give it the benefit of the doubt because you'll know quickly, no pun intended, if this thing's going to be working out or not. So I think that's what makes this season absolutely fascinating. Do you think tanking is done after this year's draft lottery? Honestly, man, like I'm looking at the league, going back to my like, there's not going to be a lot of terrible teams in the East. I think like we actually might get a lot of balance this season, and I'm excited from that perspective. Like, I don't think there's going to be truly bad teams this season. The only terribly bad team I can see in the East are the Nets, and then the same in the West are the Jazz. Like outside of the Nets and Jazz, you look at it, like we actually have balance. Like there's going to be competitiveness. Like all of these rosters are put together where they are competing. It's literally the Jazz and the Nets. I think those are going to be like the two terrible teams, like dead in the water at the bottom, clearly got an agenda to get a top pick in a loaded 2026 NBA draft. But then all these other teams, I think they're well equipped. They're put together good enough where like they're going to have a chance at a playing spot at the very least. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but I don't think we're going to see as terrible of a tank job as we've seen in years past because I think there's going to be a lot more parity. The mid to bad teams improved this offseason in both the East and the West. So that is why I think we are going to get some intrigue amongst the play-in races. I think both play-in races are going to be absolutely stacked. The West, obviously, because it is stacked to begin with. And then I think the East is going to be crowded because some of those bad teams made some nice moves and they got some nice young pieces. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see a full-on tank war as we did last year, unless like something like the Sixers situation happens again where like your star player gets hurt and you just say we're waving the white flag, we're going to tank the rest of the way. Or the same thing with San Antonio. Once Webby got ruled out with the blood clot, they're like, okay, we're going to shut down the season. But if like guys are healthy, like I think this is going to be one of the more balanced, parity-driven, competitive seasons from just an overall league standpoint where, like I just said, I think the only two terrible, terrible teams are going to be the Utah Jazz and the Brooklyn Nets. Every other team's got a chance to at least sniff the play-in. I think that's where we're headed. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that's the case because nobody likes to watch tanking, as we all know as Raptors fans. But guys, that is going to conclude today's pod. Appreciate everybody watching live or on the replay. Let me know your thoughts on everything talked about in today's show. What are you most looking forward to with the Raptors Summer League? How do you think the Raptors are going to fare in their NBA Cup journey? And what are your thoughts on the Raptors roster when compared to some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop a like, subscribe on the playback. And again, leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your favorite podcast. You can find this on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. Summer League begins tomorrow for the Raptors, 8 p.m. Eastern against the Bulls. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Follow me on X as well, at Luca Rosano 3. That is it for me, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe.